Well, fallout continues from the release of a new video showing former Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice assaulting his then fiancée. Janae Rice, now his wife, shocked many today when she defended her husband and blamed the news media for his suspension from the National Football League. On Monday, the celebrity gossip site TMZ released this video of Rice punching her in the face and dragging her unconscious body from an Atlantic City hotel elevator. We all remember that. Well, Brandon Robinson is a sports writer at the Source magazine, and Shana Renee is a sports blogger, and they're here to talk about this almost unbelievable situation we found ourselves in. Welcome, both of you. It's good to see you. Okay, so let's start here. The NFL says that they requested all pertinent information to this case, including video, that they did not receive it and didn't see it till yesterday when we all see it. I'll start with you, Shana. Does that ring true to you?
No, it does not. The NFL is a huge business. They have FBI investigators on their security team, and I find it very, very hard to believe that they lack the capabilities to recover a video from a casino. A casino, everyone knows that there's no corner of a casino that is without camera view. So I just feel that they didn't do enough due diligence on their part or didn't take the issue serious enough on their end to actually follow through.
I see you nodding your head, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm along those lines. I think the NFL being the entity that they are, I spoke to a director of security for an NBA team today, and he said to me that when, investigations are done with players and things like that, one of the first things the directors do is they go in and the organizations will give them the surveillance tape once they identify who they are. Whether the NFL did or they didn't, they were in some way lax. Either the 2-game suspension that they initially gave or the fact that TMZ did their work in finding a video of one of their employees hitting a woman.
Yeah, and just to add in for our viewers' information, I understand from our executive producer that it's the New Jersey Attorney General, is that who it is, Michelle, who said that if they had turned over the information to the NFL that it would have been illegal. So let's dig around in that and find out a little bit more about that. But here's the thing. What does it even matter? Why does this video change the game at all?
I spoke to someone, a former employee at TMZ today. I just want to say that a lot of times TMZ will actually hold footage. If it's a slow day online and they're not getting traction, they'll put stuff up. It's plausible that it could have been a slow news day for them and they wanted to get that out. So to answer your question, why does it matter? It matters because people want to be entertained and people want to see other people who make more money than them go down.
No, I grant you that. But this is what I mean. Why all the outrage now? Did we have to see the impact of the hit, of the assault, to understand how bad it was? Seeing him drag the poor woman out of the elevator, wasn't that enough to say this is bad?
For me, it was enough, but apparently for the NFL, it wasn't. And I just think that because they didn't have the actual footage that occurred behind closed doors, they used that as an excuse to believe Ray Rice over what we were all able to deduce from the situation on our own. In regards to TMZ, I just believe that the reason that the Baltimore Ravens, who did a complete 180 and initially, disregarding it as a non-issue, and suddenly
John Harbaugh said it's no big deal.
Exactly, he's a great guy. And then as soon as hours later, he's cut from the team. And I think that the difference is that the whole world saw it, and they knew that there was no way that they could, get away with not suspending him and not coming out.
That video really did force them to action. Shane, I'll get both of your action, but particularly you as a woman.
Okay.
About this whole issue of domestic violence, how we view it as a society, how victims even view themselves in this. Janae Rice put out this statement on her Instagram account. It reads in part, "No one knows the pain that the media and unwanted option from the public has caused my family. To make us relive a moment in our lives that we regret every day is a horrible thing. To take something away from the man I love that he has worked his expletive off for all his life just to gain ratings is horrific."
Right.
What's your reaction?
As a woman, it saddens me because it still seems as though she's blaming herself. And I think, we saw this in part when she sat by her husband in the press conference and basically apologized for being a victim. And, that saddened me that the NFL allowed that to happen. But I don't think that we should be all that surprised. After all, the incident occurred while they were engaged. She had every opportunity to decide that she was not going to marry this man, and yet and still she married him. So should we be surprised that she's still supporting him? No. Should we, hope the best for her and her family? I think that my biggest concern in all of this is that they have a young daughter, and domestic abuse is a cycle, and if she doesn't stand up for herself and her daughter's growing up in an environment where this occurs, whether it's one time or multiple times, that will eventually trickle down to her daughter. Toddlers are sponges, unfortunately, and they mimic the actions of adults. So.
Yeah, and the truth is probably what emboldened the NFL and the Ravens to stand behind Ray Rice was the fact that Janae did as well.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this question, Brandon, and that is, can Roger Goodell survive this?
It ain't looking good. It's really not looking good. The NFL kind of took a backtrack after it happened and instituted a 6-game ban for players who are involved in domestic violence. And then, the next time the offender is banned for life, they actually, restructured their substance abuse policy. Wes Welker and popping mollies and, and Josh Gordon doing drugs. It's kind of like the NFL is doing damage control, and it's a big PR move in a sense. It's going to be very difficult for Roger Goodell, who's always tried to play the outlaw and try to punish people, to kind of rebound from this, and it looks difficult.
Let me slide this one more in before we have to go, and that is, of course, the NFL has suspended Ray Rice indefinitely. He can appeal that in a year. But my question is, what team would take him?
It's going to be very difficult, but I think you've seen guys kind of repair their careers, except they didn't get caught in video doing it. Michael Vick, obviously, dogfighting, but I think a team like a Kansas City, a Buffalo Bills, a Philadelphia Eagles team, it's going to be difficult, but a year can change things.
I think what's working against Ray Rice, aside from the backlash he's receiving right now, is that last season he was not that productive. He's 28, and normally running backs are on the end of their career by the age of 30. So I think that also hurts him.
It'd be 28. I think he's still 27, 28, somewhere around that line. Next year is a whole new year, but he's got to sit down. I think the biggest thing is to get help.
I agree.
The guy was raised without his father. His father was murdered when he was young. And to have somebody to teach you that hitting women is wrong, I mean, it sounds elementary to us, but there are certain things that you need to learn and you need to get help doing.
Yeah, so many factors in that regard in his personal life that we just don't know and can't weigh in on. But it's a sad state of affairs all the way around, no matter how you look at it. We have to stop right there. Shana Renee,
Thank you so
Brandon
much.
Robinson, thank you guys.